G'day, legends, and the fighters in the UFC lightweight division are an absolute disgrace. They're a disgrace to combat sports. They're all ducking each other. It is infuriating. So it is time for, once again, Dougie Dana White to take the reins of the UFC lightweight division and start laying down the goddamn law, mate. We've done it on this channel a couple of times before. Whenever the boys start to get out of sorts, I come in and just clean out the entire division and tell everyone the way that it is going to be. What is the point of having everybody under contract and being under control of these athletes if we can't force them and bend them to the will that we want to have? I think I saw a tweet the other day that almost everyone in the lightweight division hasn't got any fight books right now. Like, the whole lightweight division is just sitting there waiting for something to happen, waiting for someone to shit or get off the pot. Well, I'm here to crack the bloody whip. We're going to get the lightweight division moving. We had a discussion about this not long ago at the live stream, and we didn't end up coming to any sort of consensus. So I've taken some of your ideas, boys, the legends, the chads that join me on the live streams, and I've used some of your ideas. But we're going to be going through the lightweight division. We need to be getting it moving, mate, all right? There's just too much nonsense going on there. We've had Paddy Pimblett saying that he doesn't want to fight Arman Tsarukyan because nobody's interested in Arman Tsarukyan fight. I am. Arman Tsarukyan might be the rightful number. He might be the best lightweight in the world right now. He might be. We don't know how Islam Makhachev's legacy truly is at lightweight because he fought nothing but featherweights, Dustin Poirier and Moicano. We don't know how good he really was because we never got to see the Arman fight. And as much as it wasn't Islam's fault that Arman got sick or got injured, God knows what happened at the start of the year, Islam Makhachev should have been campaigning to get the Arman fight back. He should have been screaming from the rooftops that he wants the Arman fight because it's hella important to his legacy. Then we've got Ilia Topuria. We're trying to solidify his legacy as well, but apparently he only beat up washed Charles Oliveira, so we need to see Ilia Topuria to fight Arman Tsarukyan. But Dana White and the UFC have been very clear with Arman Tsarukyan. Get one more fight. We need to see you make weight. You ruined a pay-per-view for us at a brand new arena that we have to pay to be in to put on a show at. It's expensive to do shows at that arena. It just got built, and Arman ruined that pay-per-view, and Dana White lost money because of it. So Arman's in the bad books, and they're saying, right, you had Gamrot, he's a loss on your record, you can go and clean that up. But Arman turned that fight down. Arman just wants to sit around until he gets a title shot. We've had enough of it. I've had enough. Then you got Gaethje as well. He's sooking and crying all over the place. It's just a goddamn mess. Right, we're going to start from the bottom. We're going to work our way up. First things first, it's going to be Gamrot. Gamrot just got a win over Ludovic Klein. Shut up, Nacho. Gamrot just got a win over Ludovic Klein. Yeah, that's right. Just ignore the comment section of this video. Anyway, Gamrot got a win over Ludovic Klein, and Beneil Dariush got a win over Renato Moicano. Let's face it, listen, no one really cares about these two. I'm sorry, but no one cares about Beneil Dariush. He had to go on like an 11-fight win streak the first time to even sniff getting close to a title shot. Charles Oliveira versus him was a #1 eliminator, I believe it was. Close enough to it. Anyway, the point is, the UFC were denying Gamrot back when he had black hair. Now that he has got salt and peppers, there's no chance he's ever getting a title shot. The UFC don't like Gamrot because, I mean, who does? Let's face it, who does? So we don't care about Gamrot. We don't care about Beneil Dariush. They're right next to each other on the rankings. One of them needs to get knocked off. It's a hassle for the UFC. Just put these two together. There's no reason that we can't book a fight between these two in 11 weeks' time. They could fight against each other this year. Absolutely no worries. Moving on from that, my boys. Renato Money Moicano. Who should Money Moicano go in there against? This one's pretty easy. They called each other out. At least Moicano called out Michael Chandler. Moicano versus Michael Chandler for a who is the oldest in the division. I cannot afford to lose. I can also not afford to say no to money, except now I can. Moicano, he's got all the money that he needs, and the memes are sort of over now. Like, Moicano is now getting on to 37. Chandler, I believe, is 38. 39? How old is Chandler? Let's check. Good God, Michael Chandler is 39 years old. He's only beaten Dan Hooker and Tony Ferguson. Oh my God. This should be a retirement fight. It really should be. Look, Money Moicano has gotten himself to the point where he's now just turning down money because of principles. That's how you know you've made it, yeah? Like, the reason that so many young women are throwing themselves down the hole of degeneracy these days is because they're putting money above principles. But Moicano has now clawed his way to the point where he's got enough money that he can put principles above money, which is a great place in life to be at. And Michael Chandler is 39, going on 40 in the UFC lightweight division. They really are both looking down the barrel of retirement with where they are in their careers. So I like this. Have this as a fight night, main event, crowded arena. Michael Chandler, Money Moicano, loser retires. Fuck it, both should retire after this one. But loser retires. It's a fun little matchup that can be made, and Moicano called him out. Otherwise, I'm giving Chandler Ruffy. Ruffy is 3-0. His last fight against Bobby Green was the phenomenal head kick. If Chandler doesn't want this fight, I'm giving him Ruffy, or I'm just stalling him out. Next one up, who have I got behind? I forget. You know, by the time I sit down to click record, I forget what I've done. Who have I got? I've got Dan Hooker, mate. I can't wait. Who's Dan Hooker getting in there against? Why is he so far down? Who have I done there? Dan Hooker against Fiziev. Yes, Dan Hooker against Fiziev. I love Dan Hooker. I want to give him a little bit more action, but the way that I've worked out lightweight is, for now, Dan Hooker versus Fiziev. Now, why is that? Dan Hooker has clawed his way back into the top 5. Fiziev, I don't even think should be ranked, to be fair. I know he's ranked at number 11, but in his last 4, he is 1-3. 2 losses to Gaethje, a loss to someone else, and now he's just gotten the win again over Ignacio Bahamondes. Damn, I hate it when I have to Google this. Right, he just got the win over Ignacio Bahamondes. I hate the idea of someone being in the rankings and they're 1-3 in their last 4. Like, how can you be a ranked fighter when you've got people... you got people down in the rankings that are putting together win streaks. I think win streaks should get you into the rankings, and you should fall out of the rankings a lot quicker. Then with Dan Hooker as well, like, a lot of people are saying that the fight against Gamrot was very close, and I thought he clearly won the fight against Gamrot, but it was a close fight, you know, for people, and he's been inactive because of his hand injury, so you sort of need to earn your keep, especially at lightweight. Lightweight is one of those divisions where the division is just so rich and so deep, not just in the UFC, but across all of combat sports. I want the top of my lightweight division to be a real eat what you kill. I hate the fact that for the last 5 years, one of the most competitive divisions that should exist in the UFC has been dominated by a bunch of unks that go 50-50, 50-50, 50-50. I hate it. So, I'm setting this fight up as a kill or be killed sort of fight. Like, who is going to craft part of the new lightweight division? And I kind of want it to be Fiziev, because... let's face it, Dan Hooker shouldn't be in the top 5 in 2025. He just shouldn't be. The lightweight division should be murderers only. So, I'm putting this fight together. Plus, it's a banger. Like, what MMA fan would not want to see this fight? Next one up, we have got Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira. Book the rematch. Again, why is this not booked, you know, for 15 weeks' time? 20 weeks down the line. Like, I get it. Charles has just been slept. He's going to need a bit of a break. That's fine. Yeah, Max Holloway just put it on Dustin Poirier. Wasn't the easiest fight in the world. You know, Dustin Poirier did have some good moments. So, where are we at? We are at August. There is no reason this can't be booked for December. That gives Charles Oliveira 6 months. You could even have it in January. You know what I mean? Like, rest them both, but book this fight. I don't mind resting Max Holloway until Charles Oliveira is ready to get back in there, and this is just going to be an awesome, fun fight. And it's one of those ones where, like, Max needs to get rested. Max has built up enough legacy, but Max hasn't built up enough legacy and enough wins to have another go at Ilia Topuria while Ilia Topuria is still the lightweight champion. Now, if Ilia Topuria is coming off a loss, then you could, right now, you could do Max versus Ilia Topuria, but Ilia Topuria is the lightweight champion. And with how Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria 1 went down, it's very hard to justify a rematch for Max right now. Now, if he gets through one more fight, then suddenly it becomes that Robert Whittaker, Israel Adesanya situation where, yeah, you've justified a rematch fair enough at the title. So, rest Max until Charles is ready, and then give Max a winnable fight against a legend, and this just allows lightweight to breathe a little bit, because we do have more contenders at the top that we need to sort out. One of them being Arman Tsarukyan. Arman, get 1 win. Gaethje, fight Arman. If this fight doesn't go down, I have a solution for it that I will get to momentarily. However, the next fight before the end of the year at UFC 323, which I believe is going to be the December card, needs to be Paddy Pimblett versus Ilya Topuria. I know. Listen, I'm not happy about this. If I had Thanos fingers, and I could do whatever I wanted to do without being realistic about human beings and where they're at, right? I would do this. This is what I would do. I would do Ilya Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan. I really want to see that fight. I want to know just how good is Ilya Topuria at lightweight. But we're not going to get this. So, second best option is Gaethje has had 2 shots at the title. Gaethje is coming off a 1-fight win streak. It is what it is. Arman screwed up a pay-per-view, a major pay-per-view at the start of the year. He needs to get a win. This is a win for Arman. A very achievable win for Arman. If Gaethje beats Arman, he's bloody undeniable. Undeniable. Paddy Pimblett is 7-0. Or close enough there, enough too. I'm not going to Google it. I don't care that much. You know what I'm saying. Paddy Pimblett... Now, yes, he is the most curated 7-0 I can really think of. I've said this before recently. I struggle to think of another fighter with a as perfectly curated run to the title as Paddy Pimblett, including Sean O'Malley, who at least had to go through Jan, including Alex Pereira at light heavyweight, who at least had to go through Jan Blachowicz. Paddy has been perfectly curated like a bonsai tree. But he has passed the test. We have had fighters that have been given gimmies and they completely screw it up. Just a short-term memory, just last week, that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu heavyweight just drop the goddamn ball. Just drop the ball. Like, we have handballed fighters, the biggest gimme wins, and they have dropped it. At least Paddy Pimblett has done what he is meant to do, and he has done it rather impressively, finally, against Michael Chandler. Finally, he's done it rather impressively. Like doing it, what he did to get to Tony Ferguson, not that impressive. You know what I mean? Jared Gordon, not that impressive. Yeah, Bobby Green, pretty good, actually. Pretty good in hindsight. And then very impressive against Michael Chandler. So the point is, like, Paddy Pimblett is where he is and he's done what he has done, and you could justify a title shot for him right now. And at least it's a fun pay-per-view. It's a fun title shot. It's something that is going to keep Ilya Topuria busy until we see what happens with Islam Makhachev. Because here's the problem. You got to keep Ilya busy while the UFC rolls the dice with Islam Makhachev. Because if somehow Islam Makhachev does beat JDM, which he won't, but if he somehow does, Ilya Topuria versus Islam Makhachev is your International Fight Week 2026 super fight. That's your Sphere, that's your John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, that's your super fight. That's the big thing that happens once a year, which we missed out on this year. We really didn't have our big thing this year. So we need a big thing next year, and Islam Makhachev, welterweight champion versus Ilya Topuria, that's the big fight that people will be willing to wait for. You do Ilya in December against a winnable fight, while you do November, JDM Islam Makhachev to see what happens. JDM's going to win. The UFC's plans are going to be spoiled again. But this is how you do it. Now, Gaethje, my little friend. If you do not want to fight anybody, Gaethje, if you do not want to take that fight, that is not... If you want to retire, Gaethje, no fucking worries, mate. See you later. Dan Hooker has called out Arman Tsarukyan. Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. 2 top 5 fights. I like this for Dan Hooker a lot more. As an Aussie, as an Anzac, who doesn't think the Gamrot fight was close, let's run this fight. Arman Tsarukyan's going to win. But that doesn't matter. I can cope and I can have fun with it. Rafael Fiziev, this is the jump up that I'm looking at. Rafael Fiziev versus Ruffy. Right? This is how you do lightweight. Fight! Fight, you dogs! Get into that cage and fight! Honest to God, Dougie Dana White is just going to have a whip draped over his desk, and it's going to be face-to-face interviews with the fighters. And if any of them fucking... I don't want to fight Arman Tsarukyan. Oh, I fought Max Holloway already. Get in there, you bastard, or it's off to the PFL, which is going to be bankrupt in a few years' time. This is how you fix the UFC lightweight division, I feel. If I had a magic wand and I was in charge of everything, yep. And Gaethje can just suck a fat one. I'll just ice Gaethje. Yeah, this is what I would do if I could have all the control in the world. Maybe not even. You know what? You want to know what I would really do if I could do anything I wanted and I could just move these guys around however I wanted? He's going to be out till next year, so I would actually ice him until next year. This is what I would do. I'd do Paddy versus Holloway for a number 2 contender shot. I'd do Ilya Tapuria versus Arman Tsarukyan. Next fight to happen. I'd do Dan Hooker versus Gaethje. I'd do Paddy versus Holloway. And whoever one was the least injured, they're the ones that are getting the shot afterwards. Just to see how the cards play out. That's what I would actually do if I was in charge of everyone moving here. I'd give Charles Oliveira some rest time. Because I think Charles Oliveira needs like 6 to 8 months. And then I'd reshuffle the deck. But there you go. Originally, this is how I would fix lightweight. This is how I'd fix lightweight. And if Gaethje doesn't fucking want it, doesn't matter. Dan Hooker's right there, and Ruffy's right there as well, just begging to get after it. Let's get moving. Let's go lightweight. Let's get it going. Come on, you're fighters. Fight professionally. It's what you do. It's like me being a drywaller and being like, I don't feel like hanging that wall. I don't like that wall. I don't want to get out over the stairwell on the scaffold. I don't want to walk the plank over the stairwell and hang the ceiling sheets. I don't want to do that. It's dangerous. Yeah. You're a fucking drywaller, Dougie. You get up there and you fucking hang it. Gaethje, you're a fucking fighter. You get in there and you fucking fight, Gaethje. Tell you, mate, I'm sick of it. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it. It was a good one. So that's that. If this is your first time here, g'day, welcome. My name is Dougie. I make an MMA video every day of the week. And I go live as often as possible, which turns out to be pretty much every day. Let me know what you think about my matchmaking down there in the comments. If you can't be bothered, leave a like. And if you're one of the if you're one of the bloody legends of the channel, which means you're always commenting, you're showing up to the lives, you're participating, you're donating memberships, thank you so much. You've bought your own membership. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you. Till then, I'll see you all in the next video. You guys have yourselves a good one. Goodbye.